So for today I'm going to replace the voltage regulator of my Mercedes W116, my 450 SEL. Why am I doing that? Well, the car is actually running fine, but this is preventive maintenance, something I really believe on. I can f***ing noise. So let's check this out. So I think you know this engine as well as myself, and unfortunately, unlike the 6 cylinders, in this one you have to remove the alternator. And I never did this before, and for that, as I see, I think I have to remove the airbox and the battery and mess with the alternator support, but before we must untighten the belts. Actually, it's just one belt. So first I'm gonna start with the battery. Actually, I told you, I was saying why I should replace this as a preventive maintenance, because without further notice, if this part goes bad, see this wire here, it goes straight to the injection module, the ECU. There is no fuse on the line, just one relay, and the current goes straight to the module. So if there is a short circuit, or the battery goes bad, or the alternator goes bad, the energy peak goes straight to the model, and maybe it can fry it. Don't worry, this isn't a fragile model, because Mercedes ordered from Bosch in the time that the components it was made with the military grade component. So. But anyway, it's expensive part, it's not so easy to find anymore. It's much better to prevent it. So let's begin. And of course the nut fell down. Here we go. I think we need a 17 mil range and a 13 mil range too. So I'm going first to loosen this screw here up. Actually, I already did. It's 17 mil. Then this one here, this nut. I'm going to the wrong side. This is never going to be loose this way. We can remove the belt right now. Yep. To make it all easier, remove the support. And then I think the alternator is ready to go. Must disconnect the electrical connection here. As you can see here, someone has already replaced this regulator. And as we can see, this is not a Mercedes one. It's not for this car actually. This is a Brazilian brand that makes even fuel pumps. It's working fine, but let's replace it anyway with one made for the car. We have just two flat blade screws. Let's choose the best one for this job. It totally paid off. Look at that. Practically nothing there anymore. See? Spending $10 or $20, we saved $1,000. Totally worth. Preventive maintenance always. I'm using a new one from Melee. I thought I bought it from FCP Euro that has a lifetime warranty. It doesn't bring any advantage here being here in Brazil, because if I ship the part back, it will cost me more than buy a new one. But Anyway, it's something cool that they do anyway. Sometimes this is hard to put in, but there is a small trick you can do. Let me show you. This is especially effective when we're doing this job without removing the alternator. Take a plastic ziplock, lock it, and tie it up in the part in a way you pull this graphite in. Take extra care not to break the graphite because it's very fragile. And then you put it inside, turn the screw in some few threads, and then when it will be in the right position, you cut with a scissor and remove it. So as we are here already messing with that, why not clean this alternator for it to look better? As the alternator is out, use this time to check if the bearings are fine. Spin it, it shouldn't make any strange noise. This actual axis can't have any travel, okay? Just test it, pull it back and forth. To mount it back, you just make the reverse steps. So here we are, back with the 116th. And then as you can see, the alternator is already in place. I already tested the car and everything works just fine. But I have to explain something that happened here. I decided to tighten the rest of the belts, and I realized that there was one missing screw here where we should tie the power steering pump. I tried to do everything to put back this screw, but I couldn't. I tried actually, I think, for hours even. The access is very hard, so I gave up of trying and decided to remove everything. I removed the power steering pump with the reservoir altogether and try again to put the screw here, but unfortunately the threads were bad. So I think I'm going to remove that support and remake the threads with a thread maker. And hope it's gonna work. And of course, I'm using this time and this opportunity to clean everything. So as you can see here, I finished removing this plate that supports the steering pump. Here on those threads, one of them is bad. I use as a strategy to insert a thread maker on the opposite direction of the thread and check if I can be able to. Look who is here to help me. Say hello to the camera, Zeus. Olha quem veio me ajudar, olha. Aqui. As I don't have any cutting fluid here, I'm gonna use this WD-40. It works too. But you know, unfortunately, this is other thing that was fine on the car, was good, and got broken after I took the car to the workshop. It was about 3 or 4 months ago I took the car to the workshop to rebuild the steering pump and steering box. They are specialized on this, and probably they couldn't put this screw back and damage the threads. First hole worked like a charm.
Ein Haufen Zombies um uns herum und die Nächte werden länger. Für kurz 2 Tage noch Munition, danach dann nur noch unsere Hände. Woher sie kommen, wohin sie gehen, darüber denken wir nicht nach. Ein neuer Anfang, ein altes Problem, wer schickt hier wen ins Grab? Wir bleiben hier, wir haben die Macht, wir geben niemals auf. Schließ dich uns an. Sei ein Held. Wir halten stand. Um jeden Preis. Festung Europa, die letzte Bastion, bewegt sich kein Millimeter. Im Norden Leben, im Süden der Tod. Wer jetzt noch zögert, stirbt was später. Wir haben Waffen, sie haben Zeit. Vor uns ein Meer aus toten Leibern. Die nächste Welle, wir sind bereit. Wir kämpfen einfach immer weiter. Wir bleiben hier.
We're gonna keep on to finish assembling everything back on the power steering pump, tensioning the belts, and I hope we put the car to work again. Here the work never ends. That's the advantage of a Keeps Lab. We have always something to do, even having few cars nowadays. I used to have more, believe me. So, without further ado, I have to tension these belts. I couldn't find how exactly because there is no adjusting screw. Seems I have to use some kind of lever and do it with my muscles. And alone. And I have to do that alone. There is no one to help me here. So let's try. And after I finish that, I plan to clean the engine bay. It's rather dirty. I'll keep on using this brake cleaner, especially because I spilled a lot of oil, ATF there. I'll make all of that clean, and I snap this wire that goes from the distributor to the model, and this will be serious. This is going to be a little hard to fix. So I can check this later. What am I doing here? I'm trying to lift this up with a jack from underneath the car. So let me show you what I do to retention this. See, there is a screw there, a nut actually. I supported this nut from underneath with a long extension for a wrench, and then used a hydraulic jack to lift it up, and then it lifted up the whole pump rotating in a rotating motion, and the tights and the belt seems to be pretty well tensioned. And then I tightened back all the screws and nuts, and that's all. So it's not easy. There is not so much room to work. This operation you have to be very, very careful. Because I want to have a second chance in here. Yes. Wires exposed. I used a lot of soldering paste. And next up I'm going to use this liquid isolant. So let's keep on with the maintenance here of this wire I broke while I was trying to tension the belts of the steering pump. As we may see, the liquid isolating fluid has already dried up. I'm gonna use some more textile tape to protect it even more, but seems to be very rigid here. I think it's going to work. It doesn't look so pretty, but function before looks. So as you can see, the car is already running. Let's check for leaks. Till now everything seems fine. My fixing of that wire worked. After I refill the power steering pump with fluid, I turn the steering from left to right to left several times to make sure that all of the air got extracted from the system. And that's it. Everything's working, belts are tight, no more belt screws.